Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's October 4th, 2021, and I'm outside of the western garden plot. I thought I'd give you an update on the plants that are growing in our garden plots today. Outside of the on the southern edge of the western garden plot, I did take Elon and just pull back a few of the wood chips there and took and deposited Mini-Me's small bucket load of decomposed horse manure from one of our neighbors. So there's just two spots like that. I'm probably going to put some of the pink currants in these locations. I do have to harvest the chive seeds. That's something I'm going to have to do in the next few days because I'm just getting behind on things. I've been working on different projects. We've been doing some seed saving. And I don't know if I'll post a video about the seed saving this time. I posted videos about seed saving in the past. But today I thought I'd go over how things are going. The red currants here are, still doing very well. No new growth. Everything's getting ready to go dormant. The colors are changing in the trees around. It's been unusually warm this season during September and even the beginning of October so far. So we're above normal temperatures, which really hasn't triggered the chlorophyll to make the biological transformation for the red and orange and all. You can see just a couple of the maples are starting to turn color. It's really overcast. We got a little bit of rain last night. So back to the garden. The red currants have been doing very well. Blueberries very well. Honeyberries along the outer edge there. I still haven't gotten back to weeding over in that area yet. And I've got some more weeding to do here in the walkways. The seeds that we started, I think 2 weeks ago now. So these are mustard seed in this area. With the extra rain, you can see it right next to the drip tape. Some of them got a little bit drowned. Where the lupine are over here, you can see some of the lupine are starting to come out now, just starting to emerge a little bit. But next spring the lupine will come up, but I just wanted to feed the soil during these months. You can see a lot of the leaves and some of the red currants are starting to fall off now. That's probably because of the winds coming through from the northwest here that knocked those ones off, but these leaves will all go off in the next 2 weeks. The Scarlet red runner beans, Thea harvested one set so far, but boy, there's a lot more coming right now. So lots and lots of beans to be harvested. This area here, there's 2 drip lines underneath this area. Here's one right here, another one here. These are just relatively new wood chips in this area here, so you can see they aren't putting on as much growth as the areas that have more compost, more soil in these areas. No compost was added this season. We're just trying to build up the soil with what we've got here in here. And maybe next year I may just go ahead and do more of the hardwood cuttings in this area. The thornless blackberry plants that I went ahead and were tip rooting those. A couple of the limbs you can see are browned out, some over there. Well, if they get pinched, sometimes they just won't make it. So, we'll have several different thornless blackberry plants coming up from that area. So, pretty good this season. I'm not going to put hoops down this season, and we'll see just how well the blueberry plants handle the weather. Last year I put loops and covered them with plastic. A lot of extra work, not necessarily great. I've contemplated taking some cuttings and starting some, but I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed so far this season, just trying to keep up on things. And as you can see, I've got to get back to doing some more weeding here. So head around now and go to the central garden plot. Last week we harvested the red banana peppers from both the central garden plot and the eastern garden plot, and we got Thea worked quite a few hours getting all of our banana peppers and San Marzanos in, Here's where I've been doing some of the seed saving, the mixing of the fermenting, and also spilled this out afterwards. If you're interested in me creating another video, I did shoot some footage of the process that I go through fermenting and I'm actually doing a trial this year with how many days fermenting for the banana peppers to see what works out best. So in the last video, Thea and I harvested the tomatoes and peppers. We cut all of the plants off right at the soil level. We pulled back the weed mats, pulled off the drip tape, ran the tilther down just enough to stir up the surface of the soil so that the seeds wouldn't just wash right off if we got a rain. And then seeded it, and of course I seed these beds pretty darn heavily. I don't know how much time we're going to have before these end up getting killed off, but this is approximately 1 week right now. Tomorrow will be 1 week since the day that I seeded these 3 rows. So we had San Marzano tomatoes in these 2 areas in the cages, and the red banana peppers here. These 2 rows were 2 weeks before that, and this is where the cauliflower and broccoli were. The week before that, I did the 2 onion beds here. So these are all the same mustard seed mix. So it's a mix of various mustard seeds, and they're all the same. You can just see the different stages of growth. Something that's interesting, when I put prep this area, so this is where we had the what did we have? We had the blue potatoes in this bed right here, and they were right in this section in here. And I had used our hardwood twice ground mulch, bark mulch, that was ground up twice, and I used that to hill up both sets of potatoes that we've grown here this last season. And when I did this, I took the hardwood bark mulch and pulled it over here, which was decomposing wood chips, old wood chips in there. So it's amazing to me how much growth we've got out of this side compared to the compost area here, the area that's been really good soil. So that's just interesting. You see the darker the green here, a little bit lighter in this area. But this is where we grew the blue potatoes this year and sweet potatoes the year before. And this is the first year we're using the cover crops to try and recharge the soil. The cover crops are just for the soil. We're trying to increase the biomass in the soil and also utilizing the biomass above the soil to break down into the soil after this is terminated. Over here underneath the wood chips here are all of the broccoli and cauliflower. The big hard stems and all are down underneath that area. So far I'm pretty happy with how well the seeds have taken. The first 3 days I came out and watered these because the drip tape just going down the center isn't getting the margins at all. And yesterday we did get a little bit of rain, so that really helps out some too. But the beds that are taller over here, I haven't done any watering. So once they get started, so I use the fan pattern. I used to use the shower pattern, but I use the fan pattern to water the seeds as they develop into seedlings. And then once they get to about this point here, they don't need any more watering other than that central drip tape, it appears anyways. That's how I'm interpreting things thus far. So again, another tunnel of the Scarlet Red Runner beans. Probably maybe in the next 2 weeks have to come out and start harvesting more of the ones that have already started to dry out. We've got I think 4 racks of the Scarlet Red Runner beans and the red kidney beans. So these, let me see, were all of these, I think all 5 of these, it's hard for me to keep track of, are seeds that we started like 3 weeks ago. It either 2 or 3 weeks ago now. Time runs by so quickly. I have to go back and look at videos for me to remember just when everything did happen. But so this was carrots here. Then we transplanted some of the carrots that didn't grow into this into one side over here, the far right side, and we grew. What did we grow here? We had onions. We had onions in here, and up top, we had the rosemary plants. And down here, these ones are getting a little bit too much water, and since it slopes down this way, there may be a leak in the line, but these ones are getting just a little too much water here with the rain and 2 drip tapes coming down. Over in this bed, we just have single drip tapes going down. In our same size bed, just a little over 30 inches wide, the 2 drip tapes may be overdoing it, and then the water drains down towards this end and soaks a little bit more at the ends. So that's something to be aware of. Here you can see the same thing on in this bed. And so we had banana peppers in this bed and up at the other end up there. And we had, do we have more banana peppers here? We may have had more banana. Oh, we had kidney beans and red banana peppers. So this week I came over. Now this was where our russet potatoes were. And so what I did was I came over here and dug out the russets. Not a big supply, but we only had a few potatoes to put in here. And then I had hilled them up with more of the hardwood bark double ground decomposing material. I hilled up the potatoes with that. So harvested them this past just 4 days ago, or 4 days ago. And then I smoothed it out somewhat and ran the tilther over the surface of it. Now, of course, when you're digging up potatoes, unlike these beds, the soil structure gets broken up when you're digging up the potatoes. But then I came back and I put seeds down for winter rye, and we can just start to see some of them coming up right now. Not sure you're going to be able to see these, but they are emerging. And again, these ones, I tucked the hose over here and watered them for the first 3 days. And then last night we got a little bit of rain as well. May be able to see some of them starting to come up here now. But I put some all along in here as well. And do I see any? Yes, the winter rye. I'm walking right on top of them right now, which is not good. So we'll see how this looks in a week. Hopefully it'll look something like this, but more looking like a monocot grain showing up here. So the winter rye is a grain, and they are known for also not taking nitrogen from the atmosphere, but helping to maintain any nitrogen that's in the soil and help to maintain it within its roots for the next season as well. So these are all our experiments with these. Came through and harvested, like I said, all of the banana peppers. The rosemary Thea came out. Now she's already harvested and dehydrated all of the the sage and the thyme, and I can't remember what else. Maybe she did some of the I can't remember what else she did do, but yesterday, or either this morning or yesterday, she came out and got the rosemary. So these are the rosemary plants that were all in these beds. So these will go inside. These aren't hardy enough to withstand our winters here. They'd all die out. So we're going to go ahead and put those inside of the coop a bit later. Again, more of the Scarlet Red Runner beans. The hose that I've got laid over here so I can water the beds if we don't get enough rain. Sweet potatoes, we haven't gotten to a cold spell yet, so I haven't come out here and started harvesting. I'm hoping to get to the strawberry beds within the next couple of weeks and transplant the strawberries to the central line in here, since we lost so many because of my watering system this last year. I need to get the citrus over into the work area as well. The hosta berries, you can see a lot of the leaves are falling off now. So these things, man, do these things grow like crazy here. So I've got to do some cutting backs on these buggers here. I may be selling some bare root ones here really soon. But when they have good soil and all, boy, these things just grow like crazy. They keep going. They'll grow like 8 inches, and then in 2 weeks there'll be another 8 inches. It's just amazing. And down here, this is one of the high bush cranberry bushes. And hopefully there's still some of the Illinois mulberries over here, but the weeds have really worked up into here. And then I whacked a bunch of them because I came up here with a weed whacker. And so I don't know. I'll have to dig in here in the next couple of weeks and see just what we do have. Part of me wants to take the rain gutter garden out of here. This is a design that I was working on. So with the rain gutter garden, now what ended up happening here, I'll explain this. There's 2 gutters like you'd have off the eave of your house underneath these big plastic totes. And these are the types of totes that you'd use for mixing mortar. You pick them up at Lowe's or Home Depot. And then they're filled with compost and beautiful soil. Now the weed seeds have all started on the surface of these, but with those rain gutters underneath it and little wicking cups below, after the seeds have germinated and have set down roots, they don't need to be watered from the surface. You just keep there's a float that manages the rain gutter below. Unfortunately, the winters here are so harsh that it cracked it. I didn't drain the rain gutters because when snow and rain gets on it, I used to put sliding glass door covers over this to keep the rain off it and the snow off it in the winter. But this was a design that I put together to see how well it would work and that we could get real early season starts in the greenhouse. But since I'm behind on everything, so I don't know, will I use this or not? It isn't as functional out here during the summer season as any of the other beds that we have. You know, I really think the other beds, so I may end up taking this out and changing things around out in this area. The black currants, these are all the black currants. Now these had a lot of competition with the horsetail. I weed whacked a lot of these down. I see I've got more weeding to do out here, dang it. So I have to come out here and do some weeding. But the thyme, the sage, these and the lavender, they've all done well. I can't remember if she did harvest. Doesn't look like she harvested any for the, gosh, that smells so good, for the dehydrators and all. But she did get the sage and she did get the thyme because the whole work area smells like those two. I'm just not certain what I'll do with this area. I may end up coming over and just extending the fence directly right across here and just boxing in this area. And I don't know what I'll do out here. We'll have to see. Lots of ideas, but nothing concrete yet. So that's where we are. I really do appreciate when folks leave an update on how well their gardens are doing and all. And I gotta say, I've mentioned Tim's Homestead before on YouTube, Tim's Homestead. He's really got a really nice system. I think he's over in Ohio. He just put up a greenhouse or a high tunnel, I'd call it, with you know, just a polycarbonate plastic over the surface of it. This is his first year working with starting to grow things in the winter months as well. So I think it's really worthwhile going and visiting Tim's site and watching some of his videos. He's a really decent guy as well, and I really appreciate, like, I want to believe her contributions, giving us updates on how things are going with her season, what were the successes, what are the failures and all. And we can all learn from each other is what I think. I think if we just spend time helping each other in whatever way we can do, hopefully this winter I'll go over, I mentioned in I think my last video, how I break growing up into various phases, like the seedling phase to all all the way through the various growing phases to the harvesting phase, and then the planting phase as well. And if you break things up into bite-sized areas and you say, okay, during this phase of the development of the gardening, I noticed this going on, and you can take pictures, you can do research, because different phenomena happen at various phases of life. It's similar to puppies and kittens and infants. All have different disease processes or issues that come up. They have different symptoms and different clinical signs than adolescents or teenagers or young adults or senior citizens. So if we break things up into various phases, it helps us to more fine-tune and to identify what's really going on with the plants that we're growing based on the phase of development. Certain, like I pointed out, I believe that some of those the new seedlings for our cover crop got too much water. They got saturated. Now I could do a test on the soil to see how much water's there, but based on experience and the slope of the land, we're able to determine that that's almost certainly the result of too much water, because we've gotten rain, we have 2 drip tapes in that area, and that's down the hill. So the water, even after the pressure stops from the irrigation system, the water is going to gravitate down towards that area and settle there. So those roots get somewhat oversaturated. So just some thoughts. Hopefully I'll make a video about that topic this winter sometime. So that's it for today. Again, I really appreciate everyone's contributions and comments and all, and I really think all of us sharing our experiences really is helpful as well. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you think this video is of value. Share it with your friends. And by all means, folks, stay safe, take good care of yourselves, and think about gardening. Gardening's cool. It's therapeutic. Take care now. Bye-bye.